I do it for the love first, peep the intentions, man. I spit game, but you never learn no lessons.
Goddamn, we back at it, and it's the final week of the year. Monday, we start off the week with the top 100 songs. Today is now Wednesday. Now we're going over the honorable mentions. It's going to be the albums, the projects, the EPs, LPs, whatever you want to call them. The albums that didn't make the cut to be on the top albums. That video is coming on Friday. Like I said, this is the honorable mentions. So this is all the albums that didn't make the cut. They weren't good enough. They were solid for the most part. They had a good, solid listening experience, but they didn't make the top albums leading to this year, 2022. We had a plethora. We had so much good music this year. It's hard to select what's the best of the best, and then those that get left out get put on this list on the honorable mentions of 2022. So all that being said, I guess we get this started. We're out the gate. Just preface this: most of the music I listen to is rap, hip hop, R&B, a little bit soul, a little bit of funk, a little bit of alternative, a little bit of pop, a little bit indie here and there. The full list is gonna be down below, so if you want to check out the full list, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of albums, a lot of projects on there. It's probably about 50 odd different albums and projects on there, mixing the honorable mentions list. Obviously, it's a lot of music released entirely this year, so the list is going to be pretty extensive. But I'm only going to mention a brief few that I want to highlight, that I want to talk about the artists, talk about the albums, what the artists could improve on for the next project, some of the things they could have done better with the songs and stuff like that. So I'm going to be touching on probably like 5 or 6 projects to expand upon them and give my further thoughts on them. Some of these albums I've already done reactions to, some of them already did reactions to some of the songs, so definitely check out my channel, see the further extensive to my first impressions and reviews of them. But it's going to be a further breakdown of some of those albums. So let's start right out the gate. Cordae, very early this year, released From a Bird's Eye View. This is his sophomore album following The Lost Boy, which came out in the summer of 2019, I believe. And From a Bird's Eye View, now, initially I was like, okay, this is a solid album. It's not as good as The Lost Boy, but like over time, as the album progressed, after the many listens, I'm like, definitely not as good as The Lost Boy. The Lost Boy is notorious, for a freshman album. It was very solid from Cordae, and then From a Bird's Eye View coming out the gate of this year for a sophomore album, it just didn't hit as well. It's one of those things, called it a sophomore slump for a reason, and it definitely from a Bird's Eye View definitely didn't hit. It just didn't have the potency, the powerfulness that The Lost Boy had. And hopefully for his junior album, his third album, Cordae is going to come back and come crazy, recollect his thoughts. He's definitely taking the criticism well, so it seems from what I've seen, what he posted on Twitter, that he's like, yeah, I understand why y'all enjoy The Lost Boy over From Bird's Eye View, which even though he still says that From Bird's Eye View still got some bangers on, which I personally agree. Some of my favorite songs from Bird's Eye View: Jean-Michel, Mama's Hood, Champagne Glasses, and Westlake High. I still think it still had a solid song base. It still had some solid songs on there, but overall, collectively as a project, it just didn't hit as well as The Lost Boy did for Cordae. So, A Bird's Eye View was still a decent album, but just like one of those albums like could have been so much better and just didn't hit as well. So hopefully on his junior album, like I said, Cordae will come back strong for his next album, whenever that might be. That could be coming in 2023, could be coming in 2024. It remains to be seen. Maybe release a mixtape, might come back next year, and the next year might talk about a mixtape. Who knows? It remains to be seen. But I think I'm definitely excited for Cordae's next project. Moving along, Dr. Dre teamed up with Rockstar and created an additional soundtrack for GTA Online. Hopefully we someday get GTA 6, but we got some leaks here and there throughout the entire this year, so maybe we get GTA 6 next year, the following year, the year after that, we'll see. But either way, Dr. Dre collabed with GTA to create several songs. I believe it was like 5 or 6 songs that came together for a little track to add on to the tracks into the soundtrack for the game. And some of my favorite tracks from the soundtrack is ETA, the Scenic, which both had Anderson .Paak on it. Anderson .Paak and Dr. Dre mostly collabed together with other artists on this the soundtrack additional songs. And Anderson .Paak, I've been saying this for years, with all the racks that involved Anderson .Paak, that man's a cheat code when it comes to features, and he definitely delivered on ETA and the Sync Rock. Gospel had Eminem on there, and it's just like one of the things I want to expand upon is like Dr. Dre collab with Eminem, collab with 50 Cent. Maybe they do a collab project, Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, just for the one time, for one last time. Dr. Dre, we need to produce the Dr. Dre album from Eminem or 50 Cent, preferably Eminem. I think an Eminem, Dr. Dre album just to close out for their careers in some way, shape, or form, I think would absolutely go crazy, because Eminem definitely knows he's telling his career, but I think he still has something in him. If he can team up with Dr. Dre, I think they come up with something special. Music and Murder by the Volume 2, when they did Discombobulated, which I think is the last track on that side B of the album. Absolutely insane, the track. So it's just Dr. Dre and Eminem, they go way back to Four Flats on the Cadillac, and I think they come together for one last track, one last album, one last 8-10 track mixtape, whatever they might want to call it. I think it'd be absolutely insane. So Dr. Dre, Eminem, come together for one last project. Okay, moving along. Let's see. It's so many projects. FABEV released Bible, I believe, like in April, May of this year, and it just didn't hit. You know, City of Gods as a leading single was absolutely the same with Kanye West and Alicia Keys. We got Alicia Keys singing on a drill beat. Never thought I would ever see that, and it was absolutely solid single leading into the album. But when the album actually came out, it just didn't hit well. It was like co-produced with Kanye West, but like some of the songs it was hitting, it was getting too repetitive. It was not expanded upon, not too crazy. It was just like, it just didn't hit. Like FABEV had so much hype, you know, obviously with this off the grid verse they did with Kanye West on Donna in 2021, how he rode that wave. City Gods came out, rode that wave, and when the album came out, it just didn't hit as well. So hopefully maybe in the future, another project or another album that he does in the future, maybe next year or sometime in the distant future, he could come back strong, because this Bible just didn't hit as well. So maybe he'll come back strong. But City of Gods was one of my favorite songs. So once again, go check out my top 100 songs of 2022. The City of Gods, that's an absolute banger. But Bible wasn't so much. The Bible as an album wasn't so much. Moving along, in May, Jack Harlow released his sophomore album, kind of like how Cordae did. Released his sophomore album at Come Home With The Kids Miss You. And this album just didn't hit as much as his first album, which I believe I have. Yep, I have the vinyl up there. Yeah, I have the vinyl up there. Yeah, it just didn't hit as much. I know when I first did the full album reaction, once again, go check out that video. My first impression, I had the albums, his first album and his sophomore album, I had them pretty equal. But after evaluating, after listening to On and On, the second album, Come Home to Kids Miss You, does not hit as good as the first album. Like the first album, I give it like a solid 7, 8. I give Come Home to the Kids Miss You, I give you a solid 5, maybe 6 on a good day. I think I had it rated pretty equally at the first reaction, first impressions. But once again, first impressions, you know, after time you get digested, get more and more listeners further at the time you get it digested. But you know, it just didn't hit as well. Especially that like the album released, the rollout for it just didn't hit as well. Some of the singles wasn't too good. First Class obviously was a hit single for riding the wave of Glamorous, sampling Glamorous. You know, you sample a classic song like that, you're gonna have to do something. But Nail Tech didn't hit too well. I think it might have been another single for it that didn't really vibrate with me. But yeah, hopefully Jack Carter can come back strong for his junior album, kind of like I said with Cordae. Hopefully his third album was on. But I still think Come Home with the Kids Miss You still has a mega track. Some of my favorite tracks: the intro track, Young Careless, of course, First Class, Side Piece, Little Secret, Churchill Downs with Drake, which obviously once again is the Lemon Pepper Freestyle pretty much remix that Drake did back in 2021. Like a Blade Grass, Poison, and State Fair. So I think he has it in him. He definitely has it in him to come back strong with his third album and go absolutely crazy on us and give us that same feeling that we got from the first album. But it remains to be seen. Jack Harlow coming here, The Kids Miss You, is an honorable mention, because I think he has it in him to come back strong. Moving along, DJ Premier released an EP, Hip Hop 50, to celebrate the 50 years anniversary that this year was for hip hop. And yeah, there was a nice little mixtape that he had with Joey Bada, Nas, Run the Jewels was on there, Remy Ma, I believe, and one other female artist I can't remember on top of my head was on that album. And I would like to see more of this. I'd like to see more producers get rappers on to celebrate the hip hop history, the hip hop culture, like The Alchemist, Dr. Dre, Kanye West, that man. But yeah, I would like to see a lot of hip hop producers that's been legends, that's been doing this for decades and decades, who's been celebrated for being one of the best producers in hip hop history. I'd love to see them come together and make mini mixtapes, like 5 to 8 track EPs, get other artists just to celebrate the hip hop history, because hip hop as a culture has grown so much and going and diverse in so many different ways, and has impacted the world in great amounts that's affected other subgenres of music. So I'd definitely love to see other hip hop artists come together and get other artists together to celebrate the history of hip hop. Moving along, I think this was the last thing we're going to talk about for this video. Like I said, all the albums, all the EPs, mixtapes, etc., they're all all in the description down below, so you can just see the full list. But the last thing we're gonna talk about is Brockhampton. Brockhampton released the final 2 projects this year, The Family, which is pretty much a Kevin Abstract album, and then TM, just to wrap up the entirety of the rap group, that rap music artist group that they make great music together in so many different genres. I remember the first time I listened to Brockhampton, I'm like, yo, I see Justin Timberlake, I see some Outkast, I see so many different elements in the music, and they always, when they come together and make some solid music together, it's very diverse. Many different genres all put into one song. There's all so many different sounds, and the production is always, it's just Brockhampton, man. I'm gonna truly miss them. Them breaking up apart together, but they gave us 2 last projects to wrap it up. And yeah, it's just gonna miss Brockhampton. I mean, just the diversity, the music they created, the production they had was always absolutely insane. I'm just gonna miss them, and I just want to celebrate the successes they had. The 2 albums wasn't my favorites from the year, but I definitely want to mention them because they definitely did for a lot for different little mini rap groups that we have, and like hopefully they grow apart from one another, but still stay in contact with us, to have good vibes, good feelings, and good personal affections with one another. Because it's sad to see a group like that use so much good music come break apart. But hopefully in the future, maybe we get one last one to say, okay, we come back after 5 years to give y'all one powerful, strong album to wrap it all up. But I still thoroughly enjoy The Family, which is, like I said, pretty much a Kevin Abstract album, and then TM, which was released shortly after. And I'm gonna miss Brockhampton, man. I'm gonna miss them, and then the great music they made. And yeah, that's pretty much wraps up the list. I think I mentioned like 5 or 6 different projects and expanded upon them somewhere, shape, or form. Like I said, the full list is going to be down below in the description box down below, so you get the full list. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of diversity: rap, hip hop, alternative, indie, pop, whatever you want to call it, different types of music. Definitely all gonna be down in the description box with the full list, but I just wanted to mention a few that I can expand it upon and give my further thoughts on, and see what the artists can do better and what they can do in the future. And I definitely have high expectations for certain artists like Cordae and Jack Harlow. Like I said, I think their next album is definitely gonna have to deliver after the quote-unquote failures that their second albums had. Comment down below what are your honorable mentions. What do you think about my list? What do you think about my thoughts on some albums, etc., etc.? Comment down below. And then Friday is gonna be the top albums of the year. Hopefully y'all excited for that, because I know I am. You know, making this honorable mentions list already has me looking like, damn, this top albums of the 2022 is gonna be absolutely insane. So I can't wait for that video. But these were my honorable mentions of 2022. So if you like the video, please like the video. I got more content like this always coming soon, so please subscribe. We got one last video before the year's over, y'all. The top albums of 2022. Hopefully y'all excited, because I'm very much excited too. I'll see y'all next video. Peace.